Okay, Cheap Thrills podcast. It's a bit different this week. Adam's not here. Do we know where Adam's gone?
He's got a meeting with the Hollywood executives to sell his budgie smuggler's idea.
Oh, right. A cock or two. That one. We trademarked that, didn't we?
Yes.
Right, okay. So, Adam's not here. So, today we have Raven.
Hello.
We have Liam.
Hello.
And we have Graham.
Hello.
Right. What came out this week? There was a few bits that came out this week. A lot of Rebirth stuff, a few Civil War bits and pieces. We had Action Comics 959. Has anyone read that yet?
I've read all the Rebirth stuff, so yeah, I must have read it.
You've just forgotten.
What happened in it?
It was the second part of the Doomsday story.
Yes, I read it.
It was alright. It was
Yeah,
pretty
it's
good.
very good. Yeah.
A lot of, cliffhangers and what's going on.
I would say about the Superman storyline in general is it feels like a cover version or like a remake of an original story sort of thing. Like
I haven't read that much Superman, so it's all pretty...
It's
The last Superman
very
story
familiar.
I read, just Superman story, was Death of Superman, which was in the 90s. And all the other Superman stuff I read
Well,
has been Batman, Superman.
It does have like elements of the Death of Superman in there. Like
Yes.
It's really good for an introduction to Superman, but it does feel like it's like the greatest hits sort of rolled in. Really well written,
Yeah.
but it does feel like the greatest hits.
Okay, Aquaman, number 2.
Aquaman!
He has to do that. Whenever I say Aquaman and I point at him.
It never works when you do it like that.
Damn it.
I really enjoyed Aquaman. I thought it was very good.
It's good.
Yeah.
I enjoyed that. Batman number 2, which was... it's Batman. It's...
Batman's fine. I'm really interested to see where Gotham and Gotham Girl go. It's very intriguing. It felt a bit lightweight, if I was to be honest.
I thought the artwork was a bit disappointing in places. And I like Stephen Finch. Is it Steve Finch?
I don't know.
David Finch. He does the artwork and I like it, but some of the torsos and the muscles, it was very like Rob Liefeld and Image and that era.
Okay. I'll tell you what you're going to go on to next. Is it Green Arrow?
No, I was going to talk about Civil War.
Alright. The Green Arrow
Yeah.
this week was a better Batman storyline than Batman. It felt really Batman-y.
Yes, it did. I know what you mean, yeah.
And I was like, because I always read them in order least favourite to favourite, and I read Green Arrow early on, and I really enjoyed it. I was like, oh, it's going to be a great week because I've got, Batman, Superman, and Justice League to get to at the end. And Green Arrow was like one of the best ones.
What did you think of Green Arrow? Because you decided you wanted to stop, getting this one regularly.
Yeah, I really am enjoying it. Like, there's been a lot of things I wouldn't think would happen in Green Arrow. Happen. Very dark.
Yeah,
And
I think
quite
that's
funny at some point.
Yeah, there was a couple of gags that made me laugh out loud in it. Yeah.
That's what they show in the Arrow TV show. They don't really do much jokes in that.
He's really serious in Arrow, isn't he?
They do not have
Yes.
a...
Apparently, John Barrowman, who does Malcolm Merlin, apparently he signed a new deal with the CW,
Yes.
and he's going to appear
In every CW.
everything. So Supergirl, Legends of Tomorrow. So they reckon he might be like the big bad for next year.
He was recently in, not Barrowman, but Merlin, was Dark Arrow. Did you read any of that run?
Nope.
So that was okay,
Yeah.
but it's so far removed from anything else that
Yeah.
it didn't really matter. But it was a nice run.
Right, Civil War 2, Kingpin number 1.
Oh, some of the Civil War titles have got alternate covers by Scotty Young, who
Yes.
did I Hate Fairyland from the trade paperback a couple of weeks ago, and they're just great covers. Kingpin is really cute, really funny. The title itself, I enjoyed Kingpin a lot, and I've said this a few times. I am enjoying the outside titles, the non-core titles from Civil War more than the main title.
Graham, what about you? You've been buying...
Well, the
fair
Civil
bit.
War, the Civil War storyline, because it's over so many different titles, and there's little tie-ins as well from like Deadpool and Avengers and stuff. Most of the storyline seems to be in those titles rather than the actual core book. The core books just tie up those little loose ends and brings all the different stories together. So it does seem a little bit disjointed at the moment.
Which ones are you getting?
Well, I'm getting Deadpool, X-Men, getting the main books, including the
Choosing sides.
Yeah. And it, like I say, it does seem a little bit disjointed at the moment because if you don't get all the storyline in all the different books, then you're going to lose little bits of the story itself.
I think that's where I'm suffering through reading it. It's because I'm just literally reading the main storyline.
Yeah.
I'm missing out on 80% of the story.
Well,
and the 20% that's left ain't that great.
Graham's pulling X-Men, which I'm also reading, and that's a really strong storyline. You know, I like the X-Men anyway, but it's where a lot of the stuff is happening. That and the Inhumans title, and then you think, oh, okay, so I'll read those two, and then you read the main core title, and then you think, oh well, I'll read Ulysses, which is the title devoted to the new Inhuman who's having these visions of the future, and his title is so dull. Like it feels like a cash-in. That, you know, there's just, you think like the main MacGuffin character from the whole setup for the Civil War 2, you think his would be an important storyline, but it doesn't feel like it's important at all. But X-Men, who Marvel have been ignoring for, you know, the last couple of years,
their story.
Their title's fantastic. Really, like, you know, motivation with what's happening, and just feels really good, and like back in the old days where X-Men was a really great title to read.
I think
it was the number one title to read.
Well, part of that with the Inhumans and X-Men, I think is to do with the setup for the next big storyline between the Inhumans and the X-Men.
Yeah.
So that, I think it's some of the Civil War stuff is already starting to set up Inhumans versus X-Men.
Yeah, we were talking about this earlier, me and Liam, about the story that they've done for Civil War, but they've been gearing up for it for the last like 2 years.
Yeah.
And I just think that at the moment the DC storylines, they're just stronger than what the Marvel one is.
Well,
and you can't, all of the announcements that they've made for, like, you know, Marvel Now, which is going to be starting in
September, isn't it?
September.
Awesome, yeah.
It just seems to be like Marvel are trying to catch up. They're trying to say, oh look, we're doing this, and oh look, we're doing that.
I do hope they do catch up, but I really hope it's not a rush job.
Well,
no,
it does seem like a rush job because, you know, we're in Civil War now. You're going to have Marvel Now coming out in September, just come off of Secret War, so it almost seems like, right, okay, let's try this, let's try that, and they're trying to rush things through.
Yeah.
Whereas DC seem to be more of a slower pace and seem to be getting it right a lot more than Marvel.
Marvel is more. They're more likely to do big crossover events.
Yeah.
I'd even put it as like 50% more than what DC does. DC may do like one a year, but Marvel seems to do it every few months. And there's the next big, and sometimes they run parallel with each other. You've got 3 or 4 going on at the same time.
This is the thing I have. I mean, I'm not a particular fan of the Inhumans. They're always just a comic title I never pulled, but because of the way Marvel are set up now, they're their premier superhero group. They push it, and what you find is the Inhumans turn up in everyone's comic book.
Yeah.
Like, I can't read a Marvel comic book without someone from the Inhumans turning up and going, oh, this looks like a problem the Inhumans can solve, and you just think, oh, you know, fair enough. But it used to be a little bit like that with the X-Men, but not as bad, I don't think. Plus, when Wolverine turned up in your comic, you were always a bit, Wolverine's here. Someone's getting beat up.
So my main memory of Wolverine is getting run over by the Punisher and a steamroller.
What's that in? I must have missed that.
Oh God, what was that in?
I think it was in your dreams when it was off.
No, I've definitely read it. It was obviously in the Punisher at some point,
must have been,
and he knew that he's got a healing factor. And I think he kneecaps him, so like he can't move, and he's like, as soon as I heal, I'm going to kill you. So he's like, all right. So he literally runs him over with the steamroller. Catch me later. I don't know, I have to find that out, but I've definitely got it.
Yeah.
Right, Deadpool versus Gambit, number 2. You getting that?
I am getting that. I've only just picked it up today, so I've not even.
It's not good enough. You should have gone home and read it and come back.
I'm sorry, the Grand Prix qualifying was on today.
Blimey.
Other interests.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Sport.
That's the only one I do.
Green Arrow came in. We spoke about that. Green Lanterns. I've decided to drop Green Lanterns already.
I think it's, to be honest with you, I find it quite an interesting concept, and I think it's a pacing issue. I've read 3 issues now, including the original Rebirth title. So,
Yeah.
Green Lanterns, Rebirth, and then 1 and 2. And you just get to the point already, you know, keep moving. And then halfway through number 2, the storyline starts to turn up, and you're like, great, let's go. And you haven't got enough comic left to explore it.
So you gotta
and
wait
think,
until
number
weeks for the next
3.
one.
And I'm not prepared to give it up just yet, because like I said, I like the ideas, but come on, get on with it. But, you know, saying that, 1 dud out of the titles I've read so far, it's not a bad ratio.
That's pretty good. Yeah. Justice League number 1. Brian Hitch did the artwork. I think he wrote it as well.
Did he?
I think so. It's a typical Justice League
I
story.
just want to say it was not in a good way either. Like
No,
like I was saying about Superman's like a greatest hits, this just felt very run-of-the-mill Justice League.
it did. And there's a quote that Batman says in it that a lot of people have said, oh, they've lifted that from Doctor Who. And they do, really.
Not a bad source material though.
No,
Doctor
but
Who.
when you read it, it just doesn't sound like Batman. And it's not the sort of thing Batman would have said out loud. And it would have made more sense for the Flash to say it, or any of them to say it. But Batman, no. But you know what you're going to get. It's all tied up in one little nice bow, introducing all the characters. It's like, this is the Justice League, here we go. It's alright, I'm going to carry on. I've been reading the Justice League for ages.
I
so
mentioned
ain't
to
gonna stop now.
someone that it felt like the animated movie they did a couple of years ago,
Yes.
Justice League War.
Yeah.
It feels it's just classically Justice League.
Yes.
But
It's not going to surprise you in
because
any way.
everything in Rebirth has been so exciting and strong.
Yeah.
It was a bit weird to see something that was just okay.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Punisher number 3. I haven't read that yet.
no, Adam's our Punisher man.
No. Han Solo number 2. That was really good. I'm enjoying this.
Yeah.
Yeah, really good. The artwork's good. It's got the character down pretty good. You know, he comes over. You're reading it as Han Solo. You're not reading it as somebody else that just looks like him.
Right.
It's good. I'm enjoying that. It's just a mini series.
That reminds me of when I read what you talked about a couple of weeks ago, the Big Trouble in Little China comics. Like, the voice was so strong that you could just see Jack Burton saying all those lines in the thing. And yeah, you're the same with Han Solo.
Yeah.
I haven't read number 2 yet, but you hear Harrison Ford's like droll in it. It's very well written, and it comes across as continuation of his character from Star Wars.
Poe Dameron number 4. It's all right. It's flagging a little bit, I think.
Do you think these newer characters are suffering because there's not enough to hang on to from the movies?
Yes.
Well, you've only got a short source material, haven't you, really?
He's fantastic in the movies, but that's all we know of him, really. Like, where Han
Well,
Solo's
when you
got...
read number 4, he's like having an argument. He doesn't have an argument. He has a disagreement with someone, and then like, we should do this, and he goes, no, we shouldn't. We should do this. But why should we do this? Because I'm in charge and I say so. And that's it. That's the whole argument. You know, you're doing what you're told.
That sounds like a writer wrote himself into a corner there.
Yeah, almost.
I get that at home all the time.
So do I. So does Raven. Raven, would you like to do this? No. All right, let me rephrase it. Raven, do that. That's the way it works. Superman number 2. I'm really enjoying Superman. It's Superman.
As I've mentioned, I always mention about Superman because it's true. The best Superman stories are when Superman is not the main character. And without doing spoilers in this, Superman is not the main character. As the story evolves, you're like, oh, I see what's happening here. And you're fascinated by what's going to happen with this person. And it just, I'm really looking forward. And I say this, the words sound strange in my mouth because that's never happened before. I'm really looking forward to Superman every time I pull it now. Whereas before you'd be like you say,
I'd have to agree with you.
You get Superman because Batman's in it.
Yes.
But now you're like, well, what's he going to do?
Yeah.
And
it looks like, I mean, there's a few, not dropping any major spoilers on anyone, looking at a few of the fan theories to do with Superman and Rebirth, I think they're putting a lot more clues in Superman than what we actually thought.
Yeah.
There's a very big thing that happens in number 2 that I think's a clue, but I'm not entirely
Well,
sure.
the thing is, it doesn't. I would say, because we've had a conversation outside of the podcast, but I would say that I saw it for the spoiler it was.
Yeah.
You saw it for that. It makes no difference if you don't spot it
No,
or pick it up.
no, it
It's
doesn't.
one of those like, and in a couple of months, if it's not the spoiler that we
Yeah.
thought it was, it won't matter. Or that suddenly we realise, oh my god, there was so much stuff in that we didn't even spot.
Yeah.
It's fine. It's the way that they've done this. Like they've looked back to the legacy of these heroes and they've rebooted them with respect. And also, they've given us fanboys a bone, and they've written these for new people to come in at ground level. It just feels really great.
Yeah, I actually get to a Wednesday and think, hey, new comic book day, and I'll deliberately come through to the shop to buy comics on a Wednesday
And
because I
join
want to
the
read them. And I
queue
haven't
of all
done
the
that for
other
ages.
hundreds of people who are queuing out the door for Rebirth.
Yeah, but
titles.
I've got the key, so it doesn't matter.
Right. We've come for Rebirth.
Yeah.
Sod you.
It's mine.
Get
Go
mine.
away. Yeah.
As you read off spoilers.
Yeah.
Through a megaphone. Yeah. And so said. Right. The other thing that came in this week was Walking Dead 156, which doesn't mean anything except they kill a major character in it.
Is that not a spoiler?
And- is it? I don't know.
I don't know.
Well, half of them are dead in the book anyway. aren't
That's
they?
true. They always kill people in The Walking Dead, but they kill a major character, and I've got to wait 6 months to find out who it is.
This was a conversation we had where someone said that saying there's a spoiler in saying a major character dies in Civil War is a spoiler, but anyone who's read any sort of big
Comic
event
ever.
knows that they always kill somebody. Somebody's going to get killed.
Yeah.
Can it be a spoiler if they've already told you somebody's going to be dying?
Well, the way I see it is that they won't wee in their own soup. So if the news comes from
What you get up to in your own time is entirely up to you.
What do you think I do behind the counter?
if the news comes from Marvel itself, like if they've released a press release and said
Yeah,
this is
if
what's
it's
going to
in the
happen, they
public
want
domain.
you to know it
Yeah.
because of
They're going to want you to buy the comics
Yeah,
to find out who it
exactly.
is. Yeah. So
Yeah.
I don't think if
That's the way I look at it.
Yeah.
When I post something on Underpants on the Outside, and for anyone that's listening that doesn't know that, Underpants on the Outside is the Facebook group for the shop where we just post geeky stuff and comic news and TV news and film news
Yeah.
and stuff that makes me laugh. So please feel free to join. But if it's in the public domain and it's on another website and it isn't like this person snuffs it, then I'm going to share it.
well, yeah.
The thing is though, the conversation around these things can often lead to people figuring out spoilers. So if you say,
It was the same as a movie trailer.
oh god, yeah, the last couple of DC Warner Brothers trailers have been terrible. Suicide Squad seems okay, but
Batman, Superman just
gave most of the movie away.
exactly.
But people are more wary that there is a spoiler going on, so that they get a bit panicked whenever they see any sort of suggestion. But sometimes when you pick up a comic book and they've trailed something, or say DC have said, "Oh, major character dies in this," and it's on page 2 of the comic book because it's not what the story's about.
Yeah.
And if they tell you these things, most of the time, not all of the time, it's not the big story. It's a small part of a bigger story. So when they say a character's going to die, my brain thinks, well, they want us to know that, so it's more about the person who killed them than it is about the person who dies.
And the ramifications
Yeah,
afterwards.
exactly that.
Yeah. Yeah, so basically, tough. You can't go through life without a spoiler. It's like when James decided he wasn't going to know anything about Star Wars. He owns a comic shop, and he decided before the film came out he wasn't going to watch the trailer, he wasn't going to look at any of the merchandise, he wasn't going to look at anything. Like, you can't do that.
Did he go around with his eyes shut for
He
months?
did for ages, and as soon as someone said the word Star Wars, he stuck his fingers in his ears. La 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 la.
Didn't you just tell me off for mentioning Stranger Things?
Yeah, but that's next week.
All
That's
right,
not
okay.
6 months away.
All right.
Shut up. Right, that's what came out this week. We had a few mystery minis in as well. The Walking Dead Frozen and Five Nights at Freddy's, which are already going out the door. Raven seems to think the Five Nights at Freddy's are going to be really, really popular.
I tried playing that first game. I just found it incredibly hard, really difficult.
I've never done it.
But it's an internet sensation. It's like when Minecraft first came out. Everyone loved it. Like, it was, well, or like it is right now, it's that big. Like all the big YouTubers are playing it. Everyone's watching it. Like most viewed stuff.
I think it's a generation thing.
So
Because
speaking of
I didn't even know what it is. I was raving what it was.
internet sensations,
Yeah.
I'm playing Pokemon Go, where I walk around with my camera, with my phone out, in an augmented reality game, and I catch Pokemon in real life.
And bump into people.
Well, I haven't bumped into anyone
What happens
yet.
if someone steps on it?
The Pokemon
Yeah.
hasn't happened yet. I've been in some.
Can we try it?
We'll try it after the pod. Yeah, we'll update you next week.
Punch a Pokemon.
But I've been wandering all around town
Drop
trying to
kick
find
a Pokemon.
Pokemon, like screaming at the top of my voice. I found a Mewtwo.
Have you been getting weird looks?
No more than usual.
That's not too bad then.
Oh God.
Right, what were we talking about? Comics.
Right. Okay. That's what came out this week. Has anyone got anything else that they've done this week that they want to talk about?
Yes.
Geek stuff? No, you can shut up. You've spoken too much. Right, go on. Go.
I read Scooby-Doo Apocalypse,
All right.
which was very good. It doesn't follow any of the cartoons or anything. It's like a retelling, Elseworld story thing,
Mm-hmm.
They've updated all the characters.
quite further than you think they would have.
What age group is it aimed at, do you reckon?
I would probably say 20s. Like, it wasn't really for kids.
I think it's
Or
got
it
a
could-
teen age rating for the comic book, but yeah, I think it's aimed at
People that grew up with it.
people who
and
grew up
wanna-
with it
they
and now
them
want
to
a grown-up
revisit
version
back.
of it. Yeah,
Grown-up
Um,
Scooby-Doo.
it's not grown up. It's a lot of fun, but I wouldn't give it to my 9-year-old.
No?
No. Issue 1 I let her read because there's no scares in it, but by the time you get to issue 2, some of the monsters are just a little bit too scary.
It's like
Like-
Walking Dead.
It's not. It's not in the same vein. It's more like the monsters. I would say are a little bit more Silent Hill. That sort
Really?
of thing.
Okay.
Yeah. They're sort of
Yeah, I'm going to read
giant
it.
mouths with tentacle arms and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, you should definitely read it.
Right, one of the things that I finished this week, the last part came out, was Dreaming Eagles,
Ah.
which it was really good. I've been really enjoying it. Dreaming Eagles is an Aftershock title,
Right.
which is a new company. It's along the same lines as Image, so it's very creator controlled, and the writer and the
I
artist.
think that's the only way you could possibly get a comic book company off the ground these
Right.
days. Yeah.
And they've attracted a lot of really big names that are doing it. So Dreaming Eagles was Garth Ennis, which
Oh,
was immediately, well, I'm buying that, because
Right.
anything that Garth Ennis writes I'd buy. And it's drawn by Simon Colby, and I like his work on Judge Dredd.
Yep.
The story is basically set in the 60s, I believe,
Mm-hmm.
and it revolves around a father and a son, and the son is going to go off to a Martin Luther King protest march.
Right.
So it's very, what's the word I'm looking for? It's
Progressive.
no, it reflects to what's happening at the moment.
Oh right. Okay. Yeah.
So it's a black father with his black son, and the son wants to go off and fight and like make a stand, and it's us versus them, and
Yeah.
blah blah blah. So the father, to like calm him down, basically sits him down in the first issue and starts telling him the story of what happened to him in World War II.
Mm.
And it's about the creation of the first all black fighter squadron.
Oh, Tuskegee
Yeah.
Airmen. Yeah.
And it's really good. It's really good. Garth Ennis has done so many war stories.
He does wars
and
really
he
well,
does his
yeah.
homework, and Simon Colby's done his homework, and all of the the pictures of the planes are spot on. Anything else they stick in there is like perfect. He's really done his homework, and it looks fantastic. And it just follows this guy's story about how he went through, and the squadron was made up, and the problems they had, and all the way through the war. And it was 6 issues, and it finished this week, and it was a really good story, and the artwork's good, the writing was good, the colouring was fantastic.
So
It
we're
was
gonna
just
get
a really good
we're
story.
gonna get a trade for it.
Hopefully.
Do they-
There's a lot of Aftershock stories that I deliberately haven't read because I've been waiting for the trades to come in. And although we talk a lot about like Image titles, hopefully there'll be quite a few Aftershock titles coming in because they're pretty good.
Mm.
But I'd recommend it to anyone. It's very poignant to what's happening at the moment.
I like it when
if more people read it, you know, it might make the world a better place. But I
comic
doubt
books
it.
making the world a better place. I like it. It's a crazy idea. So this week it was revealed in the movie that the character of Sulu in Star Trek From Beyond, is it?
Yes.
It has a small bit of backstory turn up in the film that says that, you know, exposition that he's gay and he's married to a man.
And they have a son or a daughter, I believe. There's definitely one child.
Oh, it's a gay and a family, okay.
Yeah.
And then that shouldn't really be an issue in the whatever millennia Star Trek is set in.
20.
But it has caused a bit of controversy this week because George Takei has said, well, he was written as a straight character and I played him as a straight character. Now, George Takei himself has been out since sort of mid-2000s and is a very prominent member of the lesbian, gay, bisexual, transgender community. And he said it seems a bit disrespectful to Gene Roddenberry's initial vision for that character. And it's really strange because if you ever listen to any of the original cast talk about Gene Roddenberry, they have absolute respect for the guy.
Yep.
Especially when it came to the civil rights movement during the 60s. And George Takei has said some really interesting things about, look, we did talk about having a gay character with Gene, and he just said, look, I'm getting enough flack as it is for having a multiracial kiss on screen, which doesn't seem like a thing these days, but back then it really was.
It was huge.
So Star Trek is groundbreaking for the things that it's done, and you can kind of see why they want to do it now. You know, more groundbreaking stuff in the movies and updating it. But George Takei said, why couldn't you have an original gay character? Which is a thing that people do say.
They did try that though, didn't they?
There's been a few in like.
Oh, what was it?
Voyager.
It was one of the movies.
Oh, it was one of the Vulcans.
No. It was Lieutenant Hawk, was it?
No, I don't know. Which movie?
Oh, which one was it in? I think it was a Next Generation character.
Right.
And it was either Nemesis or...
Generations.
No, it wasn't Generations. What was the last one they did?
Insurrection.
Insurrection. It might have been that. There was a Lieutenant Hawk, and he didn't last very long.
No,
and he
Red shirt.
died. Right? It was after the fact that they turned around and went, oh, by the way, he was gay.
Oh yes, he was the. I forget the actor's name. He was the guy that played Damien Dark.
That's
in,
him?
in Arrow.
That's the one.
Yes.
Ah.
Yeah. But
Okay.
because Gene Roddenberry's son was gay, I believe. So they turned around at the time and said, oh, that character's gay. And then they killed him.
Okay.
So they didn't make a big song and dance about it, but they're like, look, we're giving you a gay character, be quiet.
It's a really hard line to walk from the makers of the movie's perspective, and you from a creative point of view. Simon Pegg wrote the movie, and he said, I wrote this in as a tribute to George.
Yes, I can see why he did it.
Oh yeah, definitely. But then it's a
His
bit.
heart was in the right place.
Yeah, but it's a bit awkward when I've written this tribute to you, and the guy's like, "Well, I don't appreciate it."
Yes.
Like, that's a bit awkward, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because Simon Pegg did respond to the whole thing and said, well, you know, that's your opinion, but you're wrong.
Yeah, which is really
And
weird.
he should have just like left it and said nothing, I think.
Yeah.
But
It doesn't make any difference. Like, the movie would probably be
No.
alright.
It
The last
does-
two have been
at the
okay.
end of the day, it doesn't make any difference whatsoever. It doesn't. Really.
Well, this is the thing, like, out of those characters, I mean, I know George Takei saying he played him as a straight guy, but out of those characters, who are main characters in the Star Trek universe, we don't know much about, I'm not talking about extended universe books and comics, but from the TV show and the movies, we know Jim Kirk is a ladies' man,
Yeah.
but we don't know about anyone else's sexuality or relationships. We just don't know.
Yeah, but
because
it doesn't go
really.
into any of their private lives,
it's,
really.
yeah,
does
like
it?
because they're not written like that at all. So,
I mean,
goodness, you know, half the crew could have been.
In Generations, we were introduced into Sulu's daughter, so she was actually on the Enterprise
Yeah.
B.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
So we do know that he's got a family, but what the sexual makeup, well, you know, and what the makeup of that family is, we don't actually know because they never explored it. So
In my opinion, I don't care.
No, and a lot of Star Trek fans won't, but there's a certain amount of controversy that needs to be generated when movies come out, just to make sure that people are talking about them.
Yeah, but it's like with Star Wars, isn't it? When they did, The Force Awakens, and it's like, oh my god, Black Stormtrooper. Who cares?
Were people really upset about that?
Yeah. Look, when the first trailer came out, and he appeared on screen because he was the first character that you saw on the trailer.
Yeah, it just
Yeah?
popped
And
up
they're
from the desert. Yeah.
Whoa, Black Stormtrooper, that's not right. Who said?
No.
I
And
think,
at no point in the original trilogy did anyone ever say all Stormtroopers are white.
I think it's like the same people who believe the Stormtroopers are still the clones.
Yeah, but they're
Right,
not though.
yeah.
I know, that's what I keep saying, but a lot of people believe that.
So we can put that one down to idiots arguing on the internet. So-
I think that's what it
Right,
is,
fair enough.
basically.
But what does bother me about this George Takei Sulu whole thing is, at one point there was a boardroom full of people who aren't creative, who just want to make money, and they made a decision based on, well, we could sell X many more tickets to gay and lesbian people if we had a gay and lesbian character in it. Now, who could, and I really hate that idea that it just all boils down to the almighty dollar. Like, if creatively, and I do believe Simon Pegg is not that person, like, if creatively he looked at it and thought, I'd love to do a tribute, and I that's fine by me. But
Yeah, of course.
if you just wanted a cash in, that makes me a little bit.
Yeah, but they're never going to admit that they
No,
were
no,
doing
they
it for that
wouldn't.
reason, are they? So it's only down to speculation.
That's me. Yeah, I'm making up bad motivation for, just so I can get annoyed at someone. I'll be off to the internet later to shout at people. With caps lock on. How very dare you! Right, so I've sidetracked us again.
Oh my. Oh my.
Right, me and Raven, we watched the first episode of Outcast. And I did it because Adam has been bugging us for the last few weeks to watch it. So we deliberately sat down to watch it,
Yeah.
and he's not here. So I'm going to talk about it without him.
Right, if we could, next week when he's back, if we could just say that you hadn't watched it, that'd be great.
Okay.
Like, just
Yeah,
when
that's
he
fine.
says,
That's probably right. We'll keep
just keep
it going.
watching the series,
Yeah.
and what we'll have to do is wait till he's gone and record this little bit extra.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
What, to
Right.
see if he's actually going to listen to
He's
it?
never going to listen.
He's never going to listen.
What was it like?
I really liked it.
Yeah?
I thought it was good.
If you could describe like what sort of feel it gives you, like compare it to something else, like where is it at?
When you first start watching it, the first thing that comes to your head is basically it's The Exorcist. That's
Nice.
kind of where they're going with it.
I need an old priest and a young priest. Yeah.
Yeah. It's got that type of vibe to it. I wouldn't say it's an enjoyable watch.
Tense.
It's very tense.
Some of American Horror Stories a bit like that. Like,
Yeah, and I haven't watched any of that, but I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You don't know what's going to happen. It's unpredictable. Just to fill in a bit of backstory, it's basically demonic possession, really. It was pretty good. I enjoyed it more than what I thought. When I first started watching it, I was watching it with Raven, and I'm thinking, should I really be watching this with him?
Yeah.
But the more I watched it, the more it's like, well, okay, it's not. There's nothing in it that he hasn't seen before.
There's nothing in it that doesn't happen at your house with all the demonic possession
That's
that
right,
goes on. Yeah.
because it's a daily event. But it was good, and they've introduced a few characters, and you're thinking, this is going to happen to this character, that's going to happen to that character. And I hope I'm wrong, but
Yeah.
that's what I do when I first start watching something. Well, everyone does. You automatically start coming up with storylines in your own head,
Yes.
so you know exactly what's going to happen. Unfortunately, if I get those storylines correct,
You
I
spoil
feel-
it for yourself.
I've spoiled it for myself,
It's
and I
only
feel a
you.
bit
It's only
disappointed.
you that you've spoiled it for, though.
Yeah. But when it doesn't go that way, I think, oh, I quite like this. That's taking me by
When a
surprise.
film successfully sells you a dummy, or a TV series successfully sells you a dummy, it's a great feeling. Like the rug just got pulled out from
Yes.
underneath you. It's great.
Yes.
But sometimes when they just straight up lie to you for a bit and then just pull some sort of
Lost.
well, yeah, or any of those films that came out after the Usual Suspects
Yes.
in the 90s, like lied to you the whole way through and then just said, but it was this guy from Act 1 that you haven't seen for an hour and 20 minutes.
He was in the shower.
Yeah.
But it was really, really good. It's got Philip Glenister in it, who's doing a really southern American accent.
Yeah.
You know what you're going to get with him. He's a bloody good actor, and it was really good. I enjoyed it. It had the same kind of feel as The Walking Dead, but a bit more tense.
It was slow.
Yeah. No, it was good. It's Robert Kirkman. He's done some really good stuff. He's done some utter stuff. Okay, I've got to talk about series 2 of Walking Dead because Adam's not here, but it was good. It's enjoyable, and I'm going to carry on watching it. What did you think? You watched it?
No, I've seen it all before. It was like, meh.
Yeah.
It was alright.
Do you want to watch the second one?
Yeah.
Alright, you're going to watch the second one.
I don't really want
Rob
it.
needs someone to watch it with him.
I do,
It's
because
scary.
I'm scared. But no, it was good. I think we're going to carry on watching it.
Cool.
Hopefully it's only going to get better.
Two I've been watching this week, or I've just got to the end of the series, I've watched it over the last couple of weeks, is iZombie, which is on Netflix.
Oh, right, yeah, we haven't
And
watched any of that
It's
yet.
based on a comic book.
Vertigo.
It's ever so slightly different, renamed a few characters. It's a lot of the same beats, but there are different things. Obviously, things that are interconnected in the comic book aren't as interconnected in the thing, and other things are connected.
Have you read it?
I read the original comic book, yeah.
All right.
But you don't need to have read it to go into the series. The series is basically mystery of the week, each week, and then an overarching zombie-based storyline.
Right.
It's not hordes of zombies. It's not apocalyptic zombies. It is a different pace from a zombie film, zombie TV series. If you're wanting something to substitute in when you're jonesing for your Walking Dead fix, this isn't the thing. This is much more. I watch it with my 12-year-old.
So it's like Buffy the Vampire.
Basically, yeah.
But with zombies.
Not
Vampires
quite
zombies.
Buffy, but I really like it, and I like the fact that it's just a mystery of the week. I do love long-running storylines where everything is interconnected and it's all part of a huge opus of this grand scheme of storytelling. But sometimes I just want to watch a one-off episode where it's all nicely tucked away after 45 minutes. I want the murderer caught and the good guys in a bar at the end going, "Well done to us."
When it ends on a laugh.
Yeah, yeah. Freeze frame like the old Naked Gun.
Yeah.
It's just okay, but it's enjoyable.
I think it's been confirmed for a third series.
Yeah, that's it. Oh, that's good. But
And
yeah,
rumour has it, talking of other series, rumour has it, Constantine might be getting a second series.
oh really?
Might be.
Oh, that is great news.
It's only rumour, but because everything's gone over to the CW and they just want to dominate
Yeah,
TV at the moment with comic characters, it looks like they might, or rather they have the option
I didn't
to
think
do a second
I
series.
didn't think it was a terrible series.
It was good.
It
was getting better.
I think the Flash is my favourite out of all of them. The Arrow is completely wayward. The Arrow bears no resemblance to the comic books whatsoever anymore.
Not really.
It's so far removed, and that's not always a terrible thing. But in this case, it is to its detriment.
It does suffer because of it.
Yeah. I've seen the first 3 or 4 Supergirls. They weren't on CW, the ones that I watched.
Supergirl I think is my guilty pleasure.
Yeah.
it's let's be honest.
Yes.
But I still want to watch it.
No worse than Lois and Clark was.
No, it's better than that. Crikey.
I loved Lois and
Oh,
Clark
it was
back in the 90s.
rubbish.
Oh, Dean Kane's one of my favourite Supermans.
No, he's not. Oh, it was bad, man. It was really bad.
Yeah, him first, then Brandon Ruth.
What about Hawaii?
Hawaii? And wait, we have been through so much just to get to this moment.
Right, what's coming in next week, Rob?
Next week we have Wonder Woman #2,
Yep,
which
looking
is the
forward to
first
that.
part of the year 1.
Yep.
Should be good. Back to the Future #10. I haven't read any of these yet. I'm going to buy the trades. Civil War 2 #3.
Yep.
The death. Apparently. Someone's going to die.
These
Someone's gonna
comic
kill
books,
them.
doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
They'll be back.
Civil War 2 Amazing Spider-Man #2.
Spider-Man was just okay.
Civil War 2 Choosing Sides #2. You're both getting that, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then Civil War 2 Gods of War #2.
Yeah, I'm reading that. That's probably been my standout title, actually. I don't know much about Hercules in the Marvel Universe, but I just thought it was a pretty interesting storyline. And then he's got the new Hulk along with him now and again, and they just smash things up. But it's written by Dan Abnett, so you know it's not just Hulk smash. There is actually a storyline in there. But yeah, I've quite enjoyed it.
Alright, cool. Detective Comics 936. I'm enjoying Detective Comics. It's very comic-y. Is the best way to describe it. They got a brand new layer that they built in 5 minutes, and there's a new team, and this bad guy is now a good guy, and there's lots of different bits that are all pointing at it, and I'm enjoying it.
Yeah,
It's good.
It is the classic, like, let's get the gang back together.
Yes.
And they got the team together, and now they've been doing hard training.
Yeah.
Batman turned up last week and said, you're just not ready,
Yeah.
which he does quite often. And then they're like, oh, but there's this thing that we should go and investigate. We should go. No, we won't go because Batman will tell us off. Well, let's not tell Batman.
Yeah, let's just go anyway.
I wonder what could possibly happen. But yeah,
Like an episode of Scooby-Doo.
yeah.
That's right.
It's actually, like Rob said, it's great fun.
Flash #2. I was really looking forward to the Flash because I was thinking after the Rebirth title.
Yeah.
I'm thinking, oh, Flash is the one to buy, and it ain't. They dismissed it very, very quickly in the first issue, and it was, if you want to know what happens after Rebirth, wait for Titans,
Yeah.
which doesn't come out for another 2 months. It's like, fine, okay then, but I'll buy it. You know, Flash #2. I want to see where it's going. It did get. The first one was like, what do we do? Let's introduce another speedster. Okay.
Classic fallback plan for
Yeah.
the Flash comics.
Flintstones #1. This is the reimagining, like Scooby-Doo Apocalypse. There's a bit of interest in it. There's a few people that have come in and asked for it. I think these are going to be more popular than what we thought they were.
I think that it got caught people out, but just for Flintstones in particular, the artwork weirds me out. They look weird. Barney and Fred Flintstone look weird.
All right.
They're
Why?
more human-y than less cartoony and more human-y. They've been drawn more realistically.
Humans?
Well, yeah, like.
But aren't they humans?
Yeah, they are humans, but you know they are cartoons from the cartoon. They're drawn exaggeratedly. These
Did the
ones are
Simpsons
drawn.
weird you out?
No,
They've only got 4 fingers.
no.
And they're yellow.
When this gets posted, I'm going to put a picture of the Flintstones underneath it because they look weird. They do look weird. Have you ever seen the episode of The Simpsons where the Simpsons are drawn as real people?
Yes.
Like, that's weird, right? It's weird.
Are they weird?
They are.
I think
Hang
they're
on, are you
weird.
telling me it's weird?
I'll let the people judge.
Yeah, write in and tell us. Are the Flintstones weird? Okay. Hal Jordan and the Green Lantern Corps, Rebirth #1. Are we going for that?
I will be reading it, but I'm not always a fan of Green Lantern. Hal Jordan's probably one of my more favourite Green Lanterns, but still.
I'll get it because it's the Rebirth title, but I'm not expecting me to pick it up every other week.
But saying that though, DC have done a good job of convincing me to keep on buying a lot more comics than I normally
Yes.
would.
Yeah, they have.
Um,
And one of the main reasons why I'm dropping titles is because I can't afford them all.
Yeah.
I literally cannot afford them all. You know. that's the
But
way
then
it
again,
goes.
like, because we work behind the counter in the shop, like someone will come in and be like, I really like this sort of comic in the past. There's a DC Rebirth title for you. We can pick it out for you. What
Yeah.
else did you like? Okay, try Titans. Try Aquaman. Try, you know, it's really well done. Like,
Yes, it is. New Superman #1. This is the brand new Superman that they've done for the Chinese market.
Oh yeah, Keenan Klein.
Yeah, so it's written.
Keenan Can.
It's written by a Chinese guy and it's drawn by a Chinese artist, and it's specifically for the
it's for the Chinese market.
Yeah.
We can buy it over here, and it's interesting. I was reading some forums this week. People were talking about diversity in comic books, and they were saying that this one of the posters was a guy from South Korea, and he said the thing is, when you talk about diversity, to him it just seems like different flavors of American. And he goes, I'd love to see a South Korean superhero. I mean, he's not got that yet because we've only just got a Chinese Superman, but I always bang on about this title's for me or this title's not for me, and I can't complain about titles that I don't like that aren't for me. I don't know what the new Superman is going to be like. I'm definitely going to pull it.
Yep.
But if I don't like it, it doesn't matter because it's not for me.
Yeah.
It's for the Chinese audience. If I do like it, I'm just getting lucky.
Yes.
So
Yeah, I know what you mean there.
I think that's amazing. They would. I mean, Grant Morrison wrote a load of Chinese superheroes during his run at DC.
Yes.
And they've got the most amazing names: Autumn General in Iron and Exquisite Physician. They were just all called really bonkers things. And that was a very Chinese like team, but written by a Westerner.
Yeah.
So this is now we've got a Chinese superhero written by a Chinese guy, written by drawn by a Chinese artist for the Chinese market. I'm excited to see where it goes.
Yeah. Me too. Nightwing Rebirth. I'm excited about this one. It's about time that they brought Nightwing back.
Yep.
He hasn't been around for 2-3 years. When was Forever Evil?
2012, 13, I don't remember.
Yeah, so it's a good 3 years since they've done it, and they killed him, allegedly. But anyone that's been reading Grayson knows that he didn't die. I'm interested to see how they're going to do the whole, but everyone knows who he is, which they do.
No,
Yes, they do.
at the end of Grayson, they wiped everything. Like, it doesn't exist anymore. Like,
Did they?
right at the end of Grayson, before the annual came out, they wiped everything. All of the Spiral records are gone. All of
Yeah, but he was unmasked live on TV.
gone. People have forgotten about it.
I haven't.
No, but this is like the bit in Austin Powers where he's explaining the time loop parallel, and
Just for the benefit of people looking at home, I'm looking at Liam like he's a moron now.
and Austin Powers turns to the camera. Mike Myers turns to the camera and says, "And you don't need to worry about that either. Like, you don't need to worry about it. Just
But I do.
no, you can't worry about it. It's not worth it."
If they don't address something,
I want more realism in
yeah,
comics.
Exactly. God damn it.
I want my flying superheroes to be more real. How dare they?
Yeah. And speaking of real, Rocket Raccoon and Groot #7 comes out next week.
I think that's got a Scotty Young alt cover as well.
Yes, it has. But it's very popular. We get a fair few of those in.
Well, my daughter didn't want to watch Guardians of the Galaxy when we went to the cinema the first time when it was out, and I rented it from
Blockbuster.
yes, I went to the video store and got a VHS of it. Back
Star
in
Video.
1997, I travelled back in time in the DeLorean to rent a movie of a film that hadn't come out yet. No,
When does it come out? Now.
so
What are we watching
I
now?
rented it online and we watched it together, and she just loved it. And the thing is, it doesn't have a very 9-year-old girl friendly cover. But when she got into it, 15 minutes in, she was like, "Oh, this is funny." And it's got all the gags, and it's got like a cute little rat thing that she likes.
Is any of this relevant?
What? I'm just saying. I'm just saying that she enjoyed it. Now that she wants to read it, and now they've got Scotty Young covers for these things. Like, Scotty Young is child friendly. I mean, I know he did Kingpin, which is not a child friendly comic, but
And I hate fairy.
yeah. No, I'm just saying, like, those titles with those covers, alt covers, really appeal to like the younger generation.
Which is good.
Yeah.
It's the next lot of people coming in to buy comics.
Not everyone is going to be like a 12-year-old me who wants to read The Killing Joke just because it's got a weird Joker on the front.
Raven is.
Yeah, but Raven is the son of a comic book reader. Like, not everyone has these advantages in life.
That is true. See? Advantages. Stop complaining. Oh, Wacky Raceland #2.
I'm looking forward to that. I really enjoyed number 1.
I haven't read the first one. I want to, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I'm going to... I think I'm going to wait for the trades, actually, for all of them. Whether it's like Flintstones, Wacky Races, Scooby-Doo. The only one that I'm not really that bothered about is the Johnny Quest one.
Yeah, I'm not really fussed because we didn't
I
have it
never
much
really
over
watched
here.
it.
Yeah.
I just don't really care enough. But no, it should be good.
Johnny Quest thinks we're sellouts. Johnny Quest thinks we're selling out, yeah. Johnny Quest thinks we're selling out.
Last week's trade was.
Last week's trade, we decided to read Manhattan Projects. Now, Graham, you didn't read this. Do you want to read it now, quick?
Yeah, if you just,
I'll have a quick flick.
if you just wait whilst Graham reads through Manhattan Project, it should only take him an hour to 45 minutes.
We'll play some music. Just hang on.
What did you think of it then, Raven?
I really enjoyed it. I didn't think I would. Like, there's tons of big words. Like most people wouldn't know. That's what he told me.
I read the first part. There's 5 issues in there,
Yeah.
and I read the first one, and I read it, and I thought Raven isn't going to like this.
No.
It's not your typical superhero-y bash, you know, the bad guy comic.
No,
It's
not
not
at
like
all.
that at all. And it doesn't. It's one of these comics that doesn't talk down to the reader.
No.
You're not spoon-fed every single little bit, and you've got to figure it out for yourself. So that's basically what I said to Raven. Go on, carry on.
But I just started reading it and really enjoyed it. Like, for what it, like, sciencey kind of stuff. I wouldn't usually like that. But it was very quick to read, actually.
Yeah, I flew through it. I've read the first 3, maybe 4 actually, trade paperbacks, and it.
Just give
the overview.
give an
is,
overview of what it is.
It's set around Dr. Oppenheimer, who was responsible for the Manhattan Project in real life, which is the development of an atomic bomb to drop on the Japanese during the end of the Second World War. And that's about as close to actual history that it gets, because
It's got a lot of people from
it
history
pulls a
in
lot
it.
of these
It
Nazi
takes a lot of liberties
scientists
with them.
in, and they're all corrupted. Like, they might end up having a metal arm, or having a demon host living in them, or
Slightly psychotic.
yeah, or I don't want to give too much away about what it happens to each character, but yeah, like a floating ghost in a spacesuit. It's wacky. It's grown up in terms of, like you say, its content is adult. It's quite gruesome in parts. There's not one single character is a hero in it.
No, and every issue it gives you a little bit of a backstory of another
Scientist.
Yeah. And there's like 6 or 7 of them.
So this original one is set all around the actual Manhattan Project, so it's set around the 40s, but it jumps forward to after the war, where these Nazi scientists are being claimed by Russia and Germany, and as it goes through the trades, they bring more up to date. So they go through the Cold War, and what I like about it is it does reference specific historical events, but then twists them round to use them for their own means in the comic book. It's got a really divisive art style. Like, some people don't like it at all. Yeah, like, to be honest with you, I know we try and not mention 2000 AD, but if you've grown up reading 2000 AD, that art style in that,
but it would fit perfectly. The story.
It feels like Future Shock or something like that. Yeah, it definitely does.
Yeah, it would. And I think that's why I enjoyed it as much as I did.
Yeah. I always recommend it to people who've read quite a lot of comics. I'd never give it to someone who's like, I want to get into comics, what should I read?
Yeah.
People who've read a lot of comics. Anyone who mentions Garth Ennis's work, I'm like, yeah, we might find it okay, because he never writes superheroes, and when he does, they're horrible people. So it's not for people like your dad said about you, like, who want superheroes. It's for people who want to read about crazy stuff.
It's people that I think is aimed at people that like reading novels but can't be bothered, and they want pictures to look at.
Yeah, pretty pictures. So,
but it's good. I enjoyed it, and I want to read more.
Yeah.
It definitely looks interesting. Like I say, with the artwork, it's not mainstream artwork.
No.
It's for some people it would be a definite turn off.
Yes.
I mean, for me, I've been reading comics for so long. It's not my favourite art style.
Mm.
And it's one where I sort of, I'm not sure whether or not I'm going to enjoy that, because I think part of the enjoyment for me is actually looking at the pictures. It's not just sort of just reading the words on the page. The artwork's got to grab me as well. Like I say, it's not my favourite of artwork, but just having a quick flick through that, I can see that there's definitely some interesting bits in there, and it's something that I'd definitely have a look at reading.
So that was last week's trade. What's this week's trade?
Raven, it's your choice.
Okay. This week's trade, it's Batman Volume 7 Endgame, from the Scott Snyder and Greg Capullo series.
So why have you picked Volume 7? Is it a standalone?
No, it does continue on, but it's a very, very good story. It was done for the 75th anniversary of Batman.
Oh, right, cool.
So it has like everything you like about Batman. It's got the rivalry between Batman and the Joker.
And it's good. It's an enjoyable read. Yeah, so we're going to talk about that more next week.
Cool. What other things are we looking forward to next week?
I don't know.
Well, Stranger Things starts on
Stranger
Netflix.
Things, yes, okay.
We can't talk about anything, even if you've seen the amazing trailer that's doing the rounds, because Rob is spoiler free.
I don't know anything about it. All I know is a kid disappears, and that's it. That's all I know.
It's set in the 80s. It looks and feels the trailer that
When does it appear?
15th, is it?
Oh, there's no way I'm going to watch a whole series in a day.
No, but we can talk about the pilot or the first couple or whatever.
Okay.
And
I will
Ghostbusters
try
comes out next week, which I'm going to go to the cinema with my daughter to watch.
I'm not.
You don't have a daughter.
Yeah, you're quite right. I don't.
That's why he's not going to watch it.
Yes.
With my daughter. But I'm still not going to go and watch it.
I'm going to wait for it to come out on VHS.
and go get it from Blockbuster.
That's right.
I've watched all the original Ghostbusters, both of them at the cinema, so I'm going to continue my Ghostbusters streak at the cinema.
I think me and Raven are going to carry on watching Star Trek and Rick and Morty. We've been watching that as well.
Oh, it's cool, isn't it?
It's fun. It's very, very enjoyable. So we went through all of the first series and we've started the second one. But it's good. I'm liking that.
Cool.
And
So
that's pretty much it, I think.
we'll see you all again here next week.
Adam will probably be back next week.
Adam will be back, and we can pretend we haven't seen Outcasts.
That's right. Graham, did you want to come back, or is that enough? You don't want to do this anymore.
Well, I could be persuaded to come back.
Oh, okay. Maybe if we have biscuits or something.
Biscuits, yeah. You've
Maybe
been
we'll-
listening to my stomach rumbling as well, have you?
Right, so I think that's
Okay,
it, isn't it?
thanks a lot.
Right, okay. See you
Bye.
later. Bye.
Bye.